Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a bench press day, and overall pretty decent day today. Made some minor adjustments just in terms of what I'm doing with exercises near the end, and that stuff I'm going to probably change the most through this training because I really want to stick to my fundamentals, and that's going to be bench press, incline, pull-ups, and then some type of row. Right? Those are always going to be my foundations. I feel like the pullovers bring a lot to the table for my weak points, for my mobility, so those will stay in. So usually what's going to change around is going to be the arm work and the shoulder work. The smaller exercises. And today I went with basically bigger versions of them. And I'm kind of glad I did because, again, I've been doing stuff to where I do some of these things by feel and just kind of see how they feel for a few weeks, and look at the biomechanics of them, and then think about what they've done in the past, how they feel, what do I feel in the muscles. Pull-ups, I'm pretty happy with these today. My lowest rep set was 11 reps, okay? Keep in mind, a few months ago, I couldn't do a single pull-up. My shoulders were so beat up, my mobility was so bad, I could not do one pull-up without excruciating pain and it feeling like a max. Today, for my third set, I got 13. Now, would I like that mobility to be better at the bottom? Yes. Is that my entire dead hang range of motion right now? Yes. But it's better than it was. The goal, here's my goal, my pull-up goal. I want to get that mobility improved and I think the pullovers and the hanging leg raises, holding onto the bars, all that stuff. I think that helps a lot. I think that helps a whole lot because that's improved my mobility on them. I want to get it a little deeper, right? I want those shoulders and scapula to open up just a little bit more. I'd like to get deeper, and I'd like to be able to do 20. And I feel like if I can get 20 dead hang, full range of motion pull-ups, even if I'm lighter because I'm cutting right now, I think that's going to put me in terms of about as much lat development as I'm ever going to need. Would I ever need more lat than that? I doubt it. Right? I just need to have a big, thick V-taper. I need good support for my deadlift and my bench, and that gives me that. It gives me that. Again, pull-ups are going to be a big deal to me. They're going to be a big deal. Also making some minor adjustments to my diet. Bumping the carbs a little bit, taking some of the fat out. That may end up knocking my calories further down because I'm still doing the protein overfeeding, but I've only been kind of doing trace carbs, whatever's in my nut butters and, my walnuts and my Greek yogurt, right? But now I think I'm going to transition the peanut butter out completely and just replace it with rice. Chicken rice, vegetables, steak rice, vegetables, lots of Greek yogurt, a little bit of fruit, do walnuts for my healthy fats, right? Mix some walnuts into all my Greek yogurts. That works great. I mean, either some frozen cherries or some protein powder mixed in with walnuts and Greek yogurt. Awesome. But the workout itself, performance was good. All my bench press reps felt good. Granted, I'm doing flat back. I'm doing it, everything paused. Pretty happy with those. Those 225 sets feel good. And I need to think about where I'm going to go with that in terms of progression. Do I want to see if I can just get more reps with the 225 for now? Do I need to go heavier? I feel like maybe just more reps would be fine. Just like the pull-ups. Do I need to add weight or should I just work on getting to 20? As I feel like the weights I'm using for all these movements are perfectly acceptable. You can get super jacked on this stuff. Plus I chatted with Nico last night, and I'm like, I just need more pecs and tricep as I diet down. And his response, if you guys saw that video we did, because we chatted in private. And again, you guys see how he looks. He's like, bro, you got a ton of muscle. You have a ridiculous amount of muscle. Just get leaner. And then maybe if you need to add more tricep and stuff, yeah, you can work on that. He's like, but at this point, just getting leaner is going to make you look very, very impressive. He's like, you have plenty of muscle. And valid point. I got plenty of muscle. Even now, I don't think people always realize because of proportions. I weigh 215 right now. This is dieted down to 215. 13 pounds into my cut. what am I going to look like closer to 200, if it's all fat? But it doesn't mean we don't try to keep gaining muscle. So I'm doing now, making sure I force myself to do 3 sets of all these lifts. And I know my pressing starts to get fatigued, but I'm like, I can just take longer breaks. Why, take 5 minutes if I have to. Get your 10 reps on the incline. It's not like it's complete rest because I'm doing rows in between, But that's the thing, and I'm wanting to make this controlled. I want these pauses, trying to really, really work those pecs. And right now, again, I feel like just getting the quality volume in. That's going to be the name of the game. Now, in the future, I'm going to have to game this stuff by year. Am I going to want to focus on just adding more reps to all these 10 rep sets? Or do I want to go up in weight? Or do I want to really say, hey, the weights I'm using right now are perfectly fine for upper and lower. Just keep increasing reps with that weight. Just get thicker. Because it's still going to carry over to maxes. Because I think what I'm eventually going to do, I'm going to start working in, and I don't know what rate. Once I get more comfortable in the cut, get settled in, I'll probably start doing maxes, but not as a full-time regular thing. I'm just going to probably keep training like this, and then occasionally test my maxes and just see where they are. Because do you fully detrain that stuff? I don't think you do. Yeah, Westside, they do them weekly. But I've had people note, technically we could max once a month. And if you're gaining muscle, they'll still go up. Right? The incline still feels like a fight. And some of it is really finding those correct touch points. When I pull the wrist straps off, and if I want to protect my wrists, and I'm trying to squeeze those bars as hard as possible. Because I feel like over time, that's going to be a game changer. More forearm development, more just raw lifting. So trying to find the ideal touch points, versus when I had wrist straps on and, got up to where I was doing rep work with 225 on this. But a lot of times my butt was lifting a little off the bench. I'm keeping it super strict. I want it to be super strict because what am I trying to do? Am I trying to move a lot of weight on the incline? No. I'm trying to build my chest and my front delts. Which brings me to the point, my delts, anytime I add laterals and stuff in, I'm still strong at them. I can go months without doing them. I'm strong at them. I don't know that I need a lot of direct delt work. I'm doing incline. I'm doing all this rowing. All my arm movements even work delts. I just kind of feel like maybe it's redundant to just do laterals. I don't think my delts are really a weak point for me. They're really not. As I get leaner, they're just going to get big. I've seen guys who were just good at benching and pull-ups who had big delts once they got lean enough. But I've done a lot of delt work. I feel like right now, I don't know that I really need it. Again, look right there, the delts when I go into this. Do I need a lot of shoulder work? Plus, the delts are being worked so much with all this other stuff. Oh, let's talk about triceps. JM presses. I had said the other day I was really thinking of adding them back in, but then I'm worried it's just going to carry over to bench. I got in and I did a set of them, and then I supersetted these after. My triceps were lit, and it blows my mind because if you look at what most of the evidence-based people are saying, it shouldn't be working the long head as much, or our triceps are going to be underdeveloped if we don't get into those stretch positions for the triceps. But then you're having some studies have shown the stretch position doesn't always do anything partial sometimes on triceps. It's one of the muscles that seems to be an odd man out even in the research. And I've got to go by feel. When was my bench been the strongest? My JM presses are strong. What exercise do I feel the triceps on? I feel it on these. And that's the crazy thing. As much as I might do those extension movements, I still don't feel them more than the JM press. I like doing them. They don't make my bench go up. So are they adding much to my overall strength? I'm not sure. We could argue, well, that tricep, but is it even working the tricep harder? I don't feel the tricep the same way I do on the JM. And that's been my frustration with it. Like I want to love the extensions. And I feel like extensions are great. But if I just get JM presses and benching strong enough again, will I have big triceps? Then I look back at what my routine looked like when I was benching 365 with that pause, where I got 5 reps at 335 paused. The only things that make my bench go up are incline and JM press. And then I look at that and say, well, even if I'm going to do the flat back and high reps at 225, don't I need it to go up? Where's our performance lay? So it's always a conundrum. And here's the other thing. What works the long head? This works the long head. And it didn't even really interfere significantly with my performance. Now, I do think maybe the pullover should be supersetted with curls at the end and maybe just do the JM separate. And that might be an approach. Might be what I do moving forward. And then if I need to, might do some band press downs just for the pump. This stretches the long head. I feel that long head even on this. I'm feeling it right there. I don't feel it anymore on the extensions than I do on the pullover. All right, so let's talk about feel. Ended with these curls. I'm like, well, let me just put some weight on. I feel cheat curls or power curls more than strict curls in my biceps, but I'm also trying to go over and touch the face and get that longer range of motion. I'm like, let me just do a little bit of a power curl. Get all the way to the bottom so that I get the stretch and bring it up to the face, see if I can go a little heavier. I was able to squeeze out 10s with these, and I got a bicep pump. My biceps were pumped. They actually were hurting a little bit at the end of each set afterwards. Like, okay, let's work with this. Main thing is working the biceps, making sure they're getting work through a full range of motion. I'm getting better at pull-ups, so that'll have some basic carryover. I need to just come in and do a good sort of curl. All right? And this works. This works just fine. Biceps felt good. And that's kind of the thing I'd said before, those power curls. I feel them more than even strict curls in my biceps. We could argue about why that is. Maybe it's the eccentric overload. But the main thing is getting in and doing a curl. Doing curls that work the full range of motion, stretch the muscle, okay? Get a pump. So that's what I did, and I'm pretty happy with it. These felt really good. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.